Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Shelburne Rachel. I'll be starting off a brand new series reading vlog. Before I get started, if you are new to this channel, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below as well as the notification bell. If you're new here, hi, I'm Stephanie. I do a lot of bookish content, but let's just get right on with the reading vlog. So this is actually future stuff. I am going into it to actually edit it out, and I realized I didn't do an intro, nor did I did an outro. So clearly I'm just all over the place right now. So I'm just doing a quick intro to let you guys know which books I'm planning to read, and then I will fast forward to the actual reading vlog content that I did while I was reading the series, and then I will come back and finish up the vlog. So for this video, I picked up 3 series. The first one is The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. I don't have the books with me anymore, but this is the first series that I tackled. The second series I tackled is the Crown of Feathers series by Nikki Palpretto. Then the third and final series I tackled for this video is The Devouring Grey by Christine Lynn Herman. So these are the 3 series that I finished, or at least tried to finish, which I will, talk about more in my next clips. But what a way for me to just finish off this series vlog. All right, just here for a very quick update with some unfortunate news. So this morning, or last night, I technically picked up The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. This is the first book in the series, and when I read this book a couple years ago, I remember that it was a very slow startup and things got interesting like halfway through the book or something. It definitely was a slow build up. Ended up being okay. Then I read the second book and I remember enjoying that one. I think I gave that book like 3 or 4 stars. I'm not entirely sure. And at the time of filming the series I want to finish last year, there's supposed to only be 3 books in the series. So I was like, I'll just read the third one, I'll finish it off, might as well, because I already read 2 out of 3. And then when I checked this book yesterday to put it on my currently reading status on Goodreads, there's now 4 books in this series, with the 4th book like 750 pages long. Not only that, but all the reviews were like, this was unnecessary, this is too long, it's supposed to be only a duology from the very beginning. Then everyone also said that the first book, that the story should have just been in 1 book really, and that was it. And for some reason the author just dragged it on, and a lot of people can tell from the books that there's just too much going on and there's no direction. So with that in mind, I picked it up. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna read it anyway, because I remember someone enjoying it at least a couple years ago. I'm up to page 22 and I am like, no. Like, I remember it being a slow build up, and I remember that, but for some reason I'm just like not invested at all to go back into another really slow build up of a series, especially one that has dragged on when it should have only, at least as far as I was aware, only 3 books. So I'm going to DNF it, because I feel like at this point I don't even know if that book is actually conclusion, or if there's going to be more books to the series, and like how the book ended, because according to reviews I feel like that was not very clear to them either. So we'll see. I'm just like very disappointed, because I really wanted to reread the series and finish it off, but I don't know, with all those like information given to me and processing that and just picking up the book again and trying to read it, I'm like, I'm already lost, guys. Like, there's been so much stuff happening suddenly, and it's like, who's that, like so many different like POVs, and I'm just lost, and I don't know, like just not into it. So I'm gonna DF the entire series, and now I'm gonna pick up the Crown of Feathers series. So this is the other series I'm gonna tackle in this video. I just need to reread the first book, because I only read the first book, and then I have books 2 and books 3 on my shelves, so I'm gonna tackle those after I finish getting to reading this one. But I'm pretty excited though, because I do remember enjoying this one. It's about Phoenix Rider and about these 2 sisters. I want to say they were like estranged, but like I think there's like more to that than just that. Like they grew up together, and then something happens because they have very different like viewpoints on Phoenixes, and I think like the older sister became like the antagonist, I want to say, in the first book. So we'll see. I really don't remember how the book really goes anymore. I read this like so long ago, which is why I'm going to do a reread of the first book, and then I'll tackle the rest of the books and then finish off the series. So here's to hoping that the second series in this vlog will be better. And yeah, well, let's just see how this goes. So I have updates right now. I am reading Crown of Feathers. I'm on page 104, and so far I'm enjoying it. I'm about, I don't even know, like not a ton of progress, to be honest, maybe like a quarter max. It's good so far. I wouldn't say it's like super engaging right now. I'm just kind of reorienting myself with the world and the characters. I don't remember there being so many different POVs, but apparently there is. So right off the bat, we have Veronica, who is the main character, and then we have Sev, who is a soldier for the army, and then we have Tristan, who is like a Phoenix Rider. The only thing I remember, to be honest, about this book is that Veronica and her twin sister Val, something happened between the two of them, and that happened already pretty early on. I would say within the first like 30 or so pages, something tragic happens and Val essentially betrays Veronica, and now their sisterhood relationship is just completely shattered, and Veronica is now on her own. She's like, I'm done with this, I am gone. And now she is basically just navigating the world by herself now, trying to find phoenixes and Phoenix Riders and see how she can become one. I don't know what happened to Val. For some reason I thought there was her POV, but there's not. Maybe in future books, I don't know. And I'm just curious to see how Sev and Tristan come into place. Tristan, if he is a Phoenix Rider, which I feel like he is, obviously I feel like he will end up bumping heads with Veronica because her goal is to become a Phoenix Rider too. It's just Sev's POV that I am curious about. Obviously he's a soldier and basically the opposite in terms of Veronica and Tristan's side. He works for the Empire, and the Empire is the one who destroyed all the Phoenix Riders and killed all the Phoenixes, so they're at odds with each other. Well, obviously Sev has his own secrets, and he's been, you know, dealing with a lot of things as well. So I'm just curious to see how everything turns out. Right now I'm very much, like I said already, just trying to reorient myself with the storyline and try to remember everything, because I don't remember jack shit, like, to be quite honest. All I remember was the first like 30 pages. So we'll see how this goes, but so far I'm enjoying it, and I'm hoping to read more this weekend. I am going to Vegas this weekend with my friend. We'll see how much reading I can get done, but we're both readers, so I feel like there'll definitely be a lot of downtime where we'll just be reading. So I'll definitely be picking up this book, and if I can finish it this weekend, that's already a win for me, because these days I've been like so slow on reading. So if I can finish this, amazing. So I don't think I'll pick up another book because I have limited space. It's literally just for like 2.5 days that we're going there. We're really just going for the Bruno Mars concert and just eat a bunch of food as well. I don't even think we're gonna gamble because she's not a gambler and I only gamble for fun, but it's really only fun if it's like multiple people. So anyways, I'll probably do some like clips here and there, hopefully, just like show you guys around Vegas. And I think we're going to see another show, the Magic Mike show as well, so that'll be fun. I've never seen that before, and yeah, just like go around and do some stuff. Y'all, I actually have updates. It is now Wednesday since I don't even know when. Honestly, I don't know when I updated you guys last. I just know that I updated you guys before I went to Vegas, and I have a bunch of clips that should be up already, and it is now Wednesday. So I just finished reading Crown of Feathers by Nikki Palpretto. I did not really read that much during the trip. I did read like a good chunk the first day or so that I was there, but then after that, nothing. I was so tired and was just not in the mood to read. But I did manage to finish the book just now, and I really enjoyed it. I feel like this reread was great. I really enjoyed all the characters and just relearning everything that happened, because it's been a couple years since I have last read the first book, and it was a good way for me to refresh my memory. There's just so much going on with this book, from the storytelling to the phoenixes and all the different POVs. It primarily follows 3 POVs, and the way how the book ended too is just like wild. And I'm curious to see if the second book will have this extra person's POV, like Val's POV, because I just want to know more about her character and kind of like what happened to her, especially because the way how the first book ended, it was very like short. Like it was like all this information and something's like done. So I'm curious to see how the second book will expand on that a little bit more and explain that a little bit more, because I'm like, is that really what just happened? I feel like I need to dig a little deeper. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I'm heading over to my boyfriend's place in a couple hours. So I am gonna pick up Heart of Flames, which is the second book. And this girl is chunky. Holy, like I felt like the first book was pretty chunky too, but well, actually like this you can't see that much of a difference, but in person it looks so much thicker. I'm hoping that there's no second book syndrome, especially because of how thick this book is. Hopefully I'll finish it in the next couple days, because I am going to San Diego this weekend, which I will also insert more clips of that hopefully, and then I'll come back and update you guys more thoroughly when I get back next week. Alright, just here to do a really quick update, because I feel like I haven't updated in freaking forever, but I am still reading Heart of Flames, and I am now on page 296. So I'm about halfway through this book, and I have to say I'm enjoying it. I'm not loving it. It's definitely like a slow progress, but thankfully I don't feel like there's a lot of repetition. I don't think there's like a big second book syndrome currently. That being said though, at the same time, it is dragging, and I'm hoping that this book picks up a little bit more, because even though there are no repetitions, I do think that there is information that is excess and could have been cut out. So I don't know, we'll see how this book goes, but I just want to let you guys know that I've been reading, and I've been reading a lot. I didn't really read that much this weekend because I did go to San Diego, and obviously when I was traveling I just don't really read as much. So hopefully now that I'm back I will get to reading, and hopefully I can finish this book this week. That is the goal, that I can finish this book at least in the next, like, I want to say this week, but I'm really hoping I finish this book in the next like day or two. Okay, so not entirely sure when I last updated you guys, but it's definitely been a couple of days. Look at Jobu for a second. Look how cute she is. But anyways, it's definitely been quite some time since I last updated you guys, but I just finished reading Heart of Flames, and I have to say I really enjoyed it. I do think that this book could have been way shorter. Like a lot could have been cut out from this book. It definitely felt like there were some portions to it that was very repetitive in terms of Val's perspective. Like she kept repeating kind of the same words over and over again, and I don't know, I just feel like a lot of that stuff could have definitely been cut out because it just dragged for some portions of the book. That being said though, I still really enjoyed it. I think the way how the book ended definitely is a cliffhanger. There's a lot of stuff happening right now that I'm just like, wonder what's going to happen next. And I'm really enjoying the other like POVs as well. What I did find really interesting was that there was a new POV from the beginning of this book, but then around halfway through I think it just, that person's POV like disappeared. And granted some of it's because, you know, different location, but I feel like it's just weird how that person was there kind of, but then halfway through it's like that person's gone. So I don't know, I just feel like that was a little off to me. And while I kind of understand the purpose of that person's POV, it didn't really make a lot of sense for that person to just disappear either. Like you either have to follow through with that person or you don't, you know what I mean? Like, and somehow incorporate that person's POV in someone else's POV and make it more comprehensive. So I don't know, I just felt like that POV was weird, and unnecessary a little bit. So, and that is definitely a part that could have been cut off, I think, in addition to all the repetitive like lingo that she was using for Val's perspective. I mean, this book could have easily been like 150 pages, maybe even 200 pages less. But anyways, now I'm gonna pick up A Wings of Shadow, which is over here, which I don't know why, but like I picked up this book and immediately I was like, this book is a lot smaller. It's not. It's probably shorter by like 10-20 pages compared to the second book, but it feels like it's a lighter book. So I'm hoping to fly through this in the next couple of days, but I do need to pick up my book club book first because I am having that discussion in less than a week. Well, actually no, more than a week. But I feel like, knowing me and how slow I read these fantasy books right now, if I pick up this book, I don't think I'll have time to finish off Independence, which is the book club pick. So I'm gonna pick up that first and then I'll come back and circle back to this third book. But I'm excited to basically be at the end of this book almost, and we'll see how that goes. Yo guys, I don't know when I last updated you guys, but I have been dying the last couple of days. It is now mid-February, and I don't know when I last updated you guys, but I just managed to finish reading this book, A Wings of Shadow. I literally just sat there in my bed, or like lay there in my bed for the past like 2-3 hours and just busted it out because I was like, enough is enough. I need to get to reading this book. And I've been procrastinating the last couple of days because I have been under severe food poisoning. I don't know how the fuck it happened, but I started getting symptoms like Tuesday, which was Valentine's Day, so that was lovely. Thankfully my boyfriend and I already celebrated the weekend beforehand, so we weren't really planning on doing anything then either. We were just gonna like chill. He made breakfast, things like that, and I had to work that day. But I would say like starting like sometime in the afternoon, I started to feel kind of unwell, like muscle aches, tiredness, a little headache, well maybe not the headache, a little bit slight fever, you know, things like that. And I was just like, am I coming down with something? So I ended up getting some cold medicine and I just laid down for a little bit thinking, you know, I probably just am coming down with something, to get some rest. And then later I realized that I've been having also like stomach issues, but I didn't like click the two together until like later on in the day, and I was like, I think I have food poisoning. And I don't know what I ate because my boyfriend was totally fine and we pretty much ate like the same things. So I don't know, I think it was just like the Thai food I had. I think that's the only thing that was different because I had ordered Thai food the day prior because I was hungry and he didn't really want to eat Thai food. So I ordered that and that was like the only thing that I had that was different. And yeah, I like died, guys. Anyway, so I did want to talk about this book now that we've rehashed my last couple of days and why I haven't really been updating you guys, and nor have I been reading because I've just been dying. But I did manage to finish this book, this series, and I have to say I really enjoyed it. This last book was just chef's kiss. I feel like this book overall was a solid 4-star read for me, but the ending and the way how everything concluded was just beautiful. I think it bumped it to like a 4.5 stars. I feel like between all 3 books, I think this is my favorite book, and then the first book was my second, and then the second book was by far my least favorite. I do think that one could have been cut so much more, and it definitely dragged on a lot of times. This book, I felt like there are times like, yes, it could have been cut down, but I don't think the issue was as prevalent as it was in the second book compared to this one. But I just loved how, you know, Veronica really became, like, grew into herself, her relationship with Val, her relationship with Tristan. Like, I just love the characters and their dynamics and how, you know, as the story progressed, they kind of grew into their roles and became a lot more confident. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff that happened between all of them. The plot itself was very engaging. Like I said already, the ending was just a chef's kiss because so much accumulated, and I was just like wondering how things would transpire. The one thing that always gets a kicker out of me, and that's something for like YA fantasy in general, is that at the end they're always like, oh yeah, this person is now commander and this person is now general and blah blah blah. And I'm like, great, I'm so glad they are, you know, they have the roles that the positions that they should because of their experiences throughout the series. At the same time though, they are teenagers, so they're like 16, 17. I think the oldest person is like Sev or Cade, who's 19 years old. They mentioned that one time. Everyone else seems to be younger than him. So you're talking about like 16, 17, 18-year-old kids who are somehow commanders of this whole like empire. And as someone who is an adult in her 30s, I'm like, I just cannot fathom being in a country where I now have to like listen to these teenagers, these kids, you know, dictate like a lot of things. And like I get part of it, it's like, okay, they have a lot of experience, they clearly gone through war, you know, they've done so much for the country, and I get it. But at the same time, it's like they act as if they are, you know, in their 20s or even 30s. And it makes more sense for me as if they're at that age versus if they're like 16, 17, 18 years old, or even 19. Like, at the end of the day, their word has teen in it. You know, they're kids. So that's the one thing that I always, like, I get a kicker out of, because I'm just like, I cannot fathom. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Like, you have the experience. You clearly know what you're doing. So like, you do it. But I just really enjoyed this book, guys. Highly recommend it. Definitely cannot wait to read more from this author. Now moving on to my last series that I'm going to read. I think that's going to be the Devouring Grey. I think that's the last and final series that I was trying to tackle in my original video, which I will link above and down below in case you want to check that out. But I've been doing this series like vlog for a while now, and I'm pretty sure that's the last series I have. And for what I remember, it's a duology. I need to find my first book, and I know the second book came out after that, and I think that's it. It's just a quick update because I'm doing actually another reading vlog for a readathon right now, and I already talked about this a little bit more in that video, but I did manage to start The Devouring Grey. I'm on page 20. So far, all I can say is that I'm immediately engaged with the story. I'm interested in what's happening. Nothing much has happened so far, but from what I remember, this book is about this founding family, these 4 founding families, where they protect a small town from the Grey. And one of the founding families haven't been around for a while, called the Saunders, and now they're back in town. And so far, I've been introduced to 2 characters, Justin and Violet, and that's kind of it. And it's revealed that Justin has no power, and he's supposed to have power because I believe each founding family has a different set of like powers to kind of protect the town from the Grey. I'm not really sure, but like I said already, I'm already invested with the story. I think it's really fascinating and definitely can't wait to read it. So I will update you guys once I get to more reading, but I've started the series and hopefully I can finish the series very soon. Just doing a very quick update on my reading before I head to bed soon. I'm still reading Devouring Grey, and I'm about 194, so about a little over halfway through. I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm just really enjoying the characters. I feel like Violet and Justin and Harper, just a lot of stuff going on, and I'm so intrigued to find out more. And I know I've read this book years ago, but I just don't remember any of it except for the fact that each founding family has different types of magic, and somehow they are responsible for keeping the town safe. But now that like the Grey, which is the monster, is growing stronger, things are kind of happening, and the whole like dynamics between the founding family, there's definitely something off about it. I don't know what that is, and I'm really curious to find out what is actually happening. I have a feeling that the founding family were supposed to sacrifice themselves to actually destroy the Grey versus protecting the town and keeping the monster like at bay. I feel like that's like the ultimate thing. So we'll see how that goes, but that's kind of my theory right now, just based on the fact that they're saying the founding families are growing weaker, which is true. I feel like apparently they're like the 2 generations above them are the ones that were actually still powerful, and now their powers are just a very small replica, or like a very small like version of what they were back in the day. So I have a feeling that they were supposed to do something about themselves way back when, and they didn't, and they didn't want to sacrifice themselves, and so now they're just trying to do the stopgap measure, and it's failing after so many years. So that's my working theory. We'll see how that goes. So now I'm back to do an outro for this video, but I can clearly see from the beginning of this video that I DNF'd the Last Magician series. I picked up the first book. Shortly after that, I realized that I have zero interest in continuing on with the book nor the series, so I just DNF'd it entirely, which is why I don't have the books with me anymore. The next series I tackled was the Crown of Feathers series, which I gave ultimately 4 stars. I gave the first book 4 stars, the second book 3.5 stars, and then I gave the final book 4.5 stars. I obviously enjoyed the 3rd book a lot more. I thought the way how the series ended was amazing, wonderful. The first book was also really solid in terms of introducing everything. The second book definitely had second book syndrome, I guess, which is why I liked it least. And then in terms of the last and final series I picked up, it was The Devouring Grey by Christine Lynn Herman. I gave the entire series 4 stars. I don't think I actually ended this series, so I'm going to do a little like spiel here in terms of what I thought about it. So I think the last time I updated you guys was when I was like halfway through this book, or like 3/4 of the way through. So I really enjoyed the first book. I thought it was a wonderful like reminder of how everything started in the beginning, and I feel like for me I really enjoyed it, especially because I didn't know what to expect going into it after so many years of not reading it. But I really enjoyed the first book, and so I immediately picked up the second book, and a couple days later it arrived. I read it and I pretty much finished it in like 2 days because I was just like really engaged with the story. I was super invested. I want to know what's happening. I also love the way how the book concluded and how the series concluded, because it definitely, I feel like the author did a really good job of just wrapping everything up in terms of the plot and the characters, as well as the relationships that were forming, because I was kind of invested with some of the relationships, even though I was like, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? Because of other like situations that was happening at the same time. But overall, really enjoyed the series. But between the two books though, I do think I liked the first book a little bit more, just because I thought the author did a really good job of setting up everything. I'm not saying that the conclusion was bad though. The conclusion was still really good. But that's what I'm gonna say for this reading vlog, this quick outro. If you have read any of the series before, let me know down below what you guys think about it. But as always, if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up if it does help on my channel. And if you'd like to see more content of me, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below, as well as notification bell. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.